Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Spring is springing here in North Carolina, and what a better way to welcome this season in than with some fantastic spring flowering shrubs. Today I'm going to share with you my top favorite spring flowering shrubs that not only give you beautiful flowers, but a lot of them also come with a lovely fragrance. So whether you have sun or you have shade, we have got some great options for you. Now, here in the South, I grew up being one of my all-time favorite spring flowering shrubs is Forsythia. However, growing up, we called them yellow bells. These, of course, are those iconic shrubs that begin to wake up very early in the season, and they have absolutely beautiful, bright yellow blooms on them. You can see that they are starting to pop out. Some have a little bit more open than others. What we're looking at right now is cold gold. This is a really neat Forsythia in the fact that it's going to be a 4x4, so 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide. It blooms on new and old wood, so you're going to get a continuous display of flowers not only in spring but through summer as well. Forsythias are hardy in zones 5 to 8. So this is just an absolutely beautiful one, and you can see from these blooms, like look, they're just now starting to open up. Look how large they are. You'll notice that they start at the base of the plant and go all the way up the stem. So this is going to be a great one for you. Is actually magical gold. There you go. So magical gold Forsythia, a 4x4. Now sometimes we need a smaller one, a more petite one. So this is where we go into Show Off Starlet from Proven Winners. Show Off Starlet is going to be a little bit more petite than the than the magical gold, in the fact that it's 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, still hardy in zones 5 to 8. You can notice that it has buds on it, but it's not flowering yet. So if you love Forsythias, you could do both, right? Because you're going to get a longer bloom time on it. So Show Off Starlet is going to be a nice, tight, compact Forsythia that will be great in your garden. You could even put it in a container if you wanted to. And then of course, for the rest of the season, once they have their flowers that flush out, they're going to give you a nice display of greenery. So it provides a nice backdrop for other flowers come later on in the season. So yellow bells, Forsythias, definitely a top spring flowering shrub. Another iconic spring flowering shrub, lilacs. That is right. Now, as a southern girl, I did not grow up with lilacs because they're just not very prominent and prevalent down here in the South. My colder people, you know how fantastic lilacs are. Now, fast forward to when I'm adult and we have Creekside Nursery. Terry, our friend from Spring Meadow Nursery, she said, Jenny, try the Bloomerang Dark Purple. She said, I have found that it is more heat tolerant than other lilacs. It is rated in the zones 3 to 7. We're, of course, a zone 8. And I have one in the backyard by the fountain, and it is glorious. It is in full hot sun, and it thrives and just blooms its head off. So these are going to be a great size. You can see that these are already popping out with a lovely foliage. The flowers are going to come soon after. It comes with that classic lilac fragrance, 4 to 6 tall and wide. This is a reblooming lilac. So while you get that massive spring flush of flowers, it will do sporadic flowers throughout the entire season. Of course, if you need to prune it, then we want to do that after that big spring flush just to shape it. I've pruned mine once in the past 4 years that I've had it, but the Bloomerang Dark Purple Lilac, for my folks in zones 3, and I would even say 8, you absolutely can have a gorgeous lilac, classic lilac flowers with the classic lilac fragrance. Love it, this plant. Talking about iconic spring flowering shrubs for the South, you should automatically think azaleas, right? So we have the Perfecto Mundo Reblooming Azaleas from Proven Winners. The Perfecto Mundo was actually developed at NC State by Dr. Tom Rainey, and they come in a wide range of colors. Anywhere from your pink carpet, your fuchsia carpet, right? So light baby doll pink, more intense hot pink. They're gonna be nice and low, perfect for the front of your flower bed. And of course, your Perfectos are they reblooming, so they bloom in the spring, summer, and fall. Look at all of the buds that are on this pink carpet. Nice, tight habit, beautiful green foliage. It's gonna be a double flower with that lovely pink. Hardy in zones at 6B to 9, and these absolutely can take full sun. So you've got pinks, you've got another personal favorite of mine is the double white. White goes with everything, right? So no matter what your color palette is in your garden, the double white will perform great. It's gonna be about 3 feet tall, 3 to 4 wide on that. And then I do not have this in the garden, but my gosh, she is so gorgeous. The foliage and the buds, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. This is going to be in full bloom before you know it. This is the Perfecto Mundo Red. And red is going to be that same size, about 2.5 feet tall, 3 to 4 wide. So if you love those red, hot colors in your garden, the Perfecto Mundo Double Red is going to be a great option for you. The Perfectos tend to stay in the more compact, petite size, minimum of 6 hours. Because they bloom on old growth and new growth, ideally you don't prune them. If you need to prune them, then I would recommend that you prune them after your spring flush of flowers. But generally speaking, they don't need to be pruned. Speaking of reblooming azaleas, probably the most iconic reblooming azalea, of course, Encore azaleas. So Encore azaleas, they come in a massive wide range of colors and sizes. So anywhere from nice short, petite ones all the way up to a nice 5-6 foot tall wide. So these are going to bloom 3 times a year, a heavy bloom in the spring. So you can have those beautiful Easter photos of the kids in front of your Encore azaleas, again in the summer and then in the fall. In fact, all of the Encore azaleas, you will notice that their names start with autumn. So you've got Autumn Embers, which is going to be a lovely red. So they did that to remind you that yes, I bloom again in the fall. So we've got Autumn Embers right here, which is red. Then Autumn Lily. Look at that beautiful white flower. It will have that slightest of the pink line in there. And these are going to be a little bit bigger. So Lily is going to be 4.5 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So you can see it's going to be a little bit more upright than say wide and spreading. That's Lily. Let me find it. Here we go. Without a doubt, one of the absolute most popular ones that we have found is Autumn Royalty. That gives you that classic southern spring flowering azalea that we all know and love, but it gives it to you in that reblooming habit. And so this one will be that 4.5 tall and wide. So again, huge range of colors, beautiful reblooming azaleas from Encore Azaleas. For my folks that maybe are in the cooler zones that can't grow azaleas, but you want that beautiful spring color like an azalea, then you probably already know about Weigelas. This is Wine and Roses Weigela from Proven Winners. This is going to be hardy in zones 4 to 8, and it gives you beautiful hot pink fuchsia blooms in the spring, and then you get a dramatic dark foliage later on in the season. So it kind of gives a little bit of a wink and a nudge to that kind of azalea type spring flowering shrub, even though they're completely different. So sometimes we have to take kind of the concept of one plant and make it adapt to our growing zone. So your Weigelas, they do need full sun. This is going to be 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. So it's going to be a beautiful, depending on your flower bed, either the middle of the border for your bed or the back, because while it is deciduous during the growing season, Those gorgeous hot pink flowers followed by that dramatic dark chocolate, deep, deep purple foliage. Beautiful, stunning backdrop to your flowers in front of it. They do bloom on old wood, so if you need to prune it, if you need to shape it, do it immediately after it flowers. Definitely a full sun shrub, gorgeous spring color. A new shrub for me, at least, I just added 2 of these to the signature garden, is Jolene Beauty Bush. This is a native shrub. It is the dwarf beauty bush. It's still not, you know, a tiny one. She's like 4 to 6 tall. But this is going to give you beautiful, like light pink, cream, yellow spring flowers. It will naturally kind of have a little bit of a cascading habit to it. It is going to be perfect like for morning sun, afternoon shade in those warmer zones like I am, but it is cold hardy to zone 4. So zones 4 to 8. It is going to give that beautiful spring flush of flowers. They look to me, they remind me of like a Deutzia. So if you're familiar with Deutzia, like that type of flower on it does really well on the edge of a deciduous woods. So that's where we put ours in the signature garden back there. 3 to 6 tall, 4 to 6 wide, anywhere a minimum of 4 hours of sun. And then you just have those beautiful spring flowers that pop up and just say spring is here. So Jolene Beauty Bush, not to be confused with a beauty berry. It is a beauty bush, spring flowers, not the beauty berry that does the purple berries in the fall. But why not just have both? If you're looking for flowers and fragrance, oh my goodness, let me introduce to you the Pearls of Perfume. This is a mock orange or a Philadelphus. So this is going to be a beautiful, more of a compact, because some mock oranges can be quite large, 4 to 5 tall, 3 to 4 wide. Pure white double flowers that have that essence of orange fragrance to it. It is not a true orange shrub, hence why it says mock orange, right? It's pretending to be an orange because it has that beautiful fragrance, but it's not in the orange family. And Pearls of Perfume is going to be, I believe, the first and only mock orange that will bloom on new and old wood. So yes, you get that beautiful spring flush of flowers that smell amazing, but then you're going to continue to get those flowers throughout the summer. Very nice kind of upright habit on it. As far as your sun, it goes from full sun to part sun. I'm going to be adding one of these to my garden because the more fragrance and flowers in the spring and the summer, yes please, give me it all. So Pearls of Perfume, great, beautiful, reblooming mock orange. You cannot talk about gardens, especially here in the South with spring flowering shrubs, without talking about Japonica camellias. Yes, Japonica camellias will be blooming in the spring. Here we have proof positive with Colonel Dame Camellia. So your Japonicas are going to be those camellias that are going to be the later bloomers. They can start in late winter and go through the spring. They have nice, big, huge, fat leaves on them. That's how we know immediately just by looking at it that this is a Japonica, because the leaf is big. If it were a fall bloomer, your leaf is going to be about the size of your thumb. So you can see it's a lot larger than that. And then they will produce these gorgeous, literally will come in a wide range of colors and shapes. Obviously, Colonel Dame is going to be a beautiful white with that little bit of that yellow throat. This is going to be 8 to 10 tall, 6 to 8 wide. Your Japonicas tend to be some of the slower growers, but ultimately get massive. So if you're driving around the South right now and you see an evergreen shrub that is covered in flowers, it's a Japonica camellia. And so these perform the best in that sun to part shade, hardy in zones 7 to 9. You can get certain camellias that'll be more cold tolerant. You really just have to look at the specific cultivar variety of your Japonica camellias. This is one that you're going to go visit your local garden center. You can do some online shopping with different nurseries that have beautiful camellias. If you know me, you know that I'm adding camellias left and right. Love Japonica camellias. One of my new favorite shrubs for the shade, native shrub, Sweet and Low Sarcococca. Hence its name, Sweet and Low. Y'all, the blooms on this are not going to be big and showy. It is not a camellia bloom, but the fragrance is to die for. This native evergreen shrub is going to be nice and kind of low profile, wide, little tiny flowers that open up. I was literally in the chicken coop woodland garden 2 days ago, and I was working, and I was like, what is that fragrance? It reminds me very much of an Edgeworthia, if you're familiar with that. And I was like, I don't have an Edgeworthia around. What is it? What is it? Smells divine. And I was like, oh, my Sweet and Lows. I have 3 of them. Could not see a bloom, but I stuck my nose down in the shrub, and that was it. It will literally stop you in your tracks. You're not going to see the flower, but you're going to smell it. It is a fantastic shrub, and it's tough as nails. Like I said, it is a native. It's hardy in zones 5 to 9, and evergreen with fragrant flowers in the spring. Thank you very much. So the warmer you are, the more shade it is going to need. Mine is in like filtered sun / morning sun, afternoon shade. This is going to be 2.5 tall, 3 wide. So more of a mounded, low, wide habit. It is also part of the Proven Winners, their deer-proof line. So if you battle deer in your shade garden, then Sweet and Low would be a great option for you. It will also perform really well in a container. So for native deer-proof evergreen shade with flowering fragrance, I mean, what else do you want in a shrub? I don't know. Sweet and Low Sarcococca. It is a mouthful. Great plant, one of my all-time favorites. So here we are in the very back of the pines, and y'all, talking about Edgeworthia. So this is Edgeworthia Forsythia, also known as a paperbush. This is why you plant an Edgeworthia in your garden. This time of year, this is it. You can see they have the coolest, fattest, trumpet-shaped flowers on them. These have been blooming for a couple of weeks now. The pollinators love them. The fragrance, I wish we could have smell-o-vision because it is so intoxicating and unbelievable. As soon as you come across the bridge, people are like, what is that fragrance? It is the Edgeworthias. Now, full disclosure, for those of you who are coming to the garden center, you're like, I want an Edgeworthia. I currently have 1 over there because they have been so popular. We're going to try to get more, but I just want you to know that if you're at a local garden center, wherever you are, and they have Edgeworthias, get them. You will love them. Not only are they this massive fragrance that smell divine, they have a very cool, like open, airy habit to them. Clearly, they're going to bloom before they put their foliage out. During the summer season, the growing season, they're going to have like elongated, a little bit of a silvery blue leaf to them, kind of nice and soft, not quite as fuzzy as a lamb's ear, but in that kind of idea. And so you'll just have a nice green shrub for the growing season. Again, it makes a lovely backdrop. Now, where are you going to put this in your garden? Y'all, this plant is so adaptable to different sun conditions and soil conditions. Mimi, Mama, has massive Edgeworthias in her pines, dry shade, no irrigation. Full disclosure, these are on irrigation. We run it during the summer only, maybe once a day for maybe like 10 minutes to kind of help maintain this bed. You do not have to have irrigation for your Edgeworthia. Mamas get filtered sun, a little bit of afternoon sun. I have one at the house. It gets complete shade in the morning, then hot afternoon sun. I have one on the edge of the grass. It is currently sitting in full sun until about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then it goes to shade. These are in all day filtered sun. So I literally have them in all different kinds of growing conditions, and they are thriving. So Edgeworthia, perfect for that beautiful, very late winter, early spring fragrance to die for. We are all about planting to have seasonal interest for the entire year. So I always encourage folks, whether you're coming to Creekside Nursery or you're going to your favorite local garden center near you, visit early and visit often throughout the season, because if you don't go early and often, then you're going to miss some amazing shrubs that are going to give you that year-round interest. So when we're looking at our gardens, we're walking through our gardens, we're kind of always thinking, okay, what am I missing? What can I add? Because gardeners always think about more plants, right? And so if you are walking through that early spring, late winter garden and you're missing fragrance or you're missing flowers, go to that local garden center that you love and they will help you pick out those plants. Because actually, believe it or not, some of the plants that come in can be even very seasonal for us. So maybe later on in the season, I won't be able to get lilacs or Edgeworthia. But when these plants are in their prime, the wholesale nurseries will have them in abundance. That's why we want to go early and often to see what is available. So go to that garden center, look for these spring flowering shrubs. You're going to absolutely love them with all of that bright color and lovely fragrance here in the springtime. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. We will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.